Hello, Numanova282 here, and welcome back to the ever-growing world of my Digimon headcanons and what-ifs. In today's video, we'll be diving into a brand new crossover universe. I may be dressed like Ernie from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but this is not a Power Rangers video. We are heading into the world of psychological torment and survival horror, specifically in 1960s Japan. That's right, we're answering the age-old question: what if the cast of Silent Hill F had Digimon partners? Some notes and ground rules first. I very recently completed all 5 endings for Silent Hill F in fairly rapid succession, so a lot of this info is fresh in my mind. However, this is not a deep dive on the story, the lore, or even the endings. This is more of a headcanon for my own weird universe where I'm taking the established lore and twisting it to work like I normally do. That being said, there's going to be heavy spoilers for Silent Hill F and discussions of darker topics such as gender discrimination and domestic abuse, so viewer discretion is advised. If you're looking for an amazing deep dive on all the endings and their meanings, please check out the link in my description below for Gingy's video on the game, as it helped me realize so many things that I missed. Also, this is a video of my opinions. I understand that you aren't all going to agree with me or each other, so let's all just try and be nice and civil in the comments. So, while we journey through the twisted version of Ebisagaoka, which I'm sure I just butchered, we will of course be following my girl, Hinako, her misguided friends, her well-meaning love interests, and her harsh and traditional family. But for now, let's start with Shu. As mentioned before, this story takes place in the 60s, so I wanted a Digivice that would still feel alien and high-tech enough, but not so much to where the characters wouldn't even understand it. The D-Cyber felt like the perfect middle ground for this. Now, Shu is Hinako's childhood best friend. Where others in town insisted on separating boys from girls, Shu always saw his partner as an equal, not someone beneath him or different. The pair would play a game called Space Wars together, and as the years went on, they grew closer and closer. Eventually, though, jealousy would rear its ugly head. When it's revealed that another man has proposed to Hinako, Shu tries his best to force a confrontation with Hinako's inner self using a semi-hallucinatory drug that he hoped would guide her to his own arms. As we know from the first ending of the game, this only leads to her breaking down mentally and slaughtering the guests at her wedding. Maybe. It's implied. I believe that's what we're locking in with, though. The guilt of his own actions would allow a darker being to overtake him, that of the Tsukumogami god, whom Hinako would eventually cut down to free Shu. But what would all this mean for Shu as a Digi-destined of sorts? I wanted to tackle this in a more Digimon Survive style theme, focusing on Digimon as spiritual beings rather than raw data, just because I think it fits really well, and also we have the really fun Spider Lily, kind of connection here. That being said, I partnered Shu with Supplemon. This Digimon works as is to reference not only Shu's background from a family of pharmacists, but also, of course, his role in the red capsules he provides to Hinako, which causes her mental split to grow on a spiritual level. Eventually, Supplemon will grow in power and digivolve to Tentimon. This alien-like Octomon variant would be seen bursting forth from the red capsule body of its prior form to act as a kind of nod to their years of playing Space Wars together. A being from deep space that closely resembles that of a certain 8-tentacled sea creature. Known for their incredible aim, these intergalactic mons fire off energy blasts from their interplanetary ray guns. Eventually, Shu's concern and jealousy will overtake both him and his partner as Tentimon digivolves to Assuramon. Lazy name, I know, but I chose to name this Asuramon recolor after the more traditional Japanese pronunciation of the fearsome demon gods from Japanese and Hindu traditions. Assuramon is the exact representation of the Tsukumogami god, again I probably butchered that corrupts and manipulates Shu. A variant of a powerful Digimon, this being has the ability to summon various weapons and tools to be wielded by him and his many arms. Assuramon will reach his final form though, as Shu comes to terms with his own feelings and actions, digivolving to Kagutsuchimon. This Volcanusmon variant, named for the Shinto god of fire, who is often associated with blacksmiths and tools depending on the source, This Digimon is a master of weaponry and tools. These Digimon of legend are said to be skilled with any and all instruments that fall into their palms. So, Shu is partnered with a Supplemon who digivolves to Tentimon, Ashuramon, and Kagutsuchimon. But who's next on the agenda? That would be our gone too soon, misunderstood shrine girl, Sakuko. In my story, she gets a little more time to shine while wielding her very own Digivice. Sakuko is a strange but lovable girl who feels somewhat betrayed by her friend Hinako. They always promised to do everything together, but Hinako went off and got engaged. Didn't matter whether it was her choice or not. Sakuko's resentment later manifests in her monstrous form, which lends to her themes of light and shrine maidenhood, especially her fear of the dark, which a version of Hinako uses against her at one point. Sakuko again will get a little more screen time with me though. The shy and anxious Sakuko will be partnered with Bunnymon. I recolored Lotmon, but specifically the X-Antibody variant to create this precious stuffed animal like rabbit. Sakuko is said to have a fascination with rabbits and caring for them at school, claiming that before Hinako, her only friends were the rabbits. This bouncing bunny is bright and full of love, but has a tendency to overthink their lack of physical power. To make up for this, they wield an abnormally large amount of spiritual magic within their soul. This little fluffball would stand fiercely by Sakuko's side until the time comes and it digivolves to Hairmon. This time I of course recolored Gargomon to give a more destructive turn in the evolutionary line. As Sakuko grows resentful of Hinako's new path in life, her resentment turns to power. Hairmon are ranged combatants who, unlike their canine cousins, fire off small chain spikes from their gun arms in lieu of bullets. This is of course a reference to Sakuko's monstrous form, who has the far-reaching chain weapon that would be kind of represented by this ranged attack. Sakuko's fear of abandonment and the unknown will manifest further as Hairmon digivolves to Maidenmon, a new take on Taomon. This bunny-eared variant is just as powerful, if not more. A legendary sorceress, this Digimon is known for being a far-reaching seer. Her mind's eye can see any and all outcomes for an individual, leading to them isolating themselves for fear of harming the ones they love with an all-too-known future. Sakuko must overcome this fear of rejection and loneliness though, and if she does, Maidenmon can digivolve to Shrine Maidenmon. I know, I recolor Sakuyamon Miko mode so often, but this is actually a variant of Kuzuhumon Miko mode. By the way, guys, if you guys don't know the story already, there's going to be a lot of foxes. Get ready to see basically everybody from the Renamon line. You're going to see them all, okay? If it's fox-like, it's probably in this video. Sakuko's dream of bringing prosperity back to her family shrine would be realized in this new form for her partner. A final form of Maidenmon, these priestesses have shed their fear of knowledge and have embraced their near omnipotence. It's said that if you look into her eyes, you will know every possible fate that may fall upon you. This wraps up Sakuko's line with a Bunnymon becoming Hairmon, Maidenmon, and Shrine Maidenmon. Now, on to one of my main enemies in this damn game. Rinko is an objectively bad friend who lets her jealousy and superiority complex destroy her friendships with ease. She is not a girl's girl, and I stand by this. But a Digivice must still be handed to her. Rinko becomes consumed by both her jealousy and her obsession with Shu. This warps her into a vicious fiery monster, but eventually, those flames of jealousy consume her. I can't help but loathe her, but I digress. The self-conscious and backstabbing Rinko is partnered with Tsukaimon. This Digimon felt like the perfect fit as it's already a dark counterpart to a kind and loving Digimon. Tsukaimon, though, will grow with Rinko's own hatred and digivolve to Frenamon. I decided to recolor Sistermon Noir to give this form a false look of kindness. Named for the term frenemy, this Digimon would be described as follows. A Digimon once thought to be a kind and caring creature, Frenamon was eventually revealed to be a conniving and backstabbing being. This Mon takes advantage of Digimon worse off than them to get what they want, only ever doing charitable things for personal gain. It's rumored that her habit was actually stolen from a sister Mon she once befriended. Frenamon's selfishness only grows as it digivolves to Yandirmon. This twisted Boss-Daemon variant will work as a reflection of Rinko's unhealthy and frankly scary obsession with Shu, named for the character trope often found in Japanese anime and manga, where a character expresses their unhealthy love through obsession and sometimes violence. Now, I did research, and from what I could find, and again, I might have missed something. I always thought that Yandir had like a really negative connotation, like it meant something way. I know it means like murder a lot and stuff, like it usually results in psychopathy, but I feel like I remember it meaning something worse. So if it means something way worse, give me a heads up and I'll apologize, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. An obsessive natured Digimon, these beings find a target and fixate their entire mind and heart on them. Known to go overboard when their affections are not returned, they become violent and dark in spirit, staying unrelenting until either their obsession or their own life is ended. Rinko doesn't get a redemption arc in my story though, as her actions, in terms of being a friend and a general human, don't seem forgivable to me. I've known Rinkos in my life, and they are toxic individuals that you should cut off without remorse. So, as she loops back around into pure villain territory, Yandirmon will digivolve to Femfadamon. Kind of a recent repeat guest, this Beal Starmon recolor works to finalize my themes for Rinko. She tells Shu that she could replace Hinako as his partner, and that her Space Wars character could be a femme fatale, all while Hinako is out and about trying to find stuff to help them, because Rinko's awful. This is, I think, what Femfadamon represents the best. A femme fatale who achieved her greatest desires, these Digimon wield an array of weapons that they expertly use to protect what they feel is theirs, in this case, Shu. Though possessive in nature, they mean genuine well over their loved ones, but will cut anyone down who gets in their way. So our glorious backstabber is partnered, and gossip, our glorious backstabber and gossip is partnered with a Tsukaimon that digivolves to Phrenomon, Yandirmon, and Femfadamon. Anyways, it's Loverboy V2, y'all. Fox Mask, later revealed to be Kodayuki, is a childhood friend of Hinako who becomes enamored with her and carries this love until they become older, where he eventually asks for her hand in marriage. He plays a unique role in our story, but a Digivice he discovers nonetheless. Hinako once saved Kodayuki from a wild fox when they were little kids, which shaped his future love for her, even if he moved on. This wasn't fully genuine, however. The fox god of the clan he reigned from had his heirs seek out women born with exceptional powers, such as Hinako, forcing an attraction where there may not have been one without intervention. And eventually, that fox spirit emerges from Kodayuki himself, facing down Hinako in battle. But all this gains new meaning when Digimon become involved. Kodayuki is partnered with the noble and intimidating Inarimon. This is of course a new take on Renamon to give him the perfect fox Digimon with a noble heir to them, obviously named for the Inari goddess present throughout the game and story. Like I said guys, foxes, Renamons, they're gonna be up in this hoe. Thought to be a goddess reborn, these fox Digimon have the uncanny ability to tap into the spiritual realm where they can freely speak with spirits and other entities with ease. Eventually, in his goal to woo and protect Hinako, his partner will take on a new powerful form, digivolving to Tailsmon. A new, more vicious take on Kyubimon, this beastly Digimon maintains its noble appearance, a twisted Kyubi. These Digimon have let obsession and desire overtake their mind, choosing to trust only themselves when thinking of others, assuming only they know best. This self-centered mentality of truth and reality will continue to warp Kodayuki and his partner as Tailsmon digivolves to 9 Talimon. A redesigned Fangmon to have 9 tails shows just how cracked and warped the spirit guiding Kodayuki and his partner is. A powerful Digimon whose fangs can puncture even the sturdiest of materials, these godlike beings feast on the spirits of their enemies, gathering what they can to provide for their own clans. These twists and turns come to a head, and Hinako confronts Kodayuki, and in turn, the fox spirit, for manipulating her life and making her choices for her. Overcome with misplaced rage, 9 Talimon digivolves to Nogetsunemon. Named for the menacing counterpart to the mythical kitsune, the Nogetsune. Yes, I'm a big big Teen Wolf fan. Anyway, this Mitamamon redesign is such a cool one that I loved getting to do. I actually really love this Digimon, and I hope we get to see more of it in the future, along with the other Digimon realized partners, like Noble Pumpkinmon and Lovely Angemon, who are both very common in my videos. A god of mischief and menace, this Digimon of legend takes it upon it themselves to manipulate the descendants of their clan, pushing them in what they believe to be the right direction, punishing all who get in the way of their master plans. Eventually, Kodayuki and his partner realize they themselves have been manipulated by a curse or family spell and choose to turn their power to protecting Hinako. So, the dashing fox mask wearer is partnered with a misguided Inarimon who digivolves to Tailsmon, Nine Talimon, and no Gitsunemon. Okay, so this next one was my last one to work on, and it proved difficult, like really difficult at first, but now I think it might be my favorite line of the video. So I hope y'all like the symbolism I shot for here, and if you don't, I kick rocks. I don't know what to tell you guys. Sorry. Junko is the mysterious sister to Hinako, whom found herself in an arranged marriage, much like Hinako is to be, and mostly vanishes from Hinako's life before returning to help her through her upcoming nuptials. Gifted a Digivice as well, she has her own journey to go on. We are introduced to a seemingly faceless Junko at first, in a sad-seeming moment with Hinako. Junko is not faceless though. She is masked, much like Hinako becomes in the other world as the wedding progresses. She begins to act more and more like an antagonist as time goes on though. However, at the end of the day, they're sisters, and she just wants Hinako to be happy, even if it's in a way that she feels is the right way. Hinako's happiness might look different from her own though. Junko finds herself aligned with the wise Hootmon. This recolor of the very owl-presenting 2010 Falcomon is a nod to both her role as a guide for Hinako and her owl or bird-themed mask. A wise and noble Digimon who freely shares their knowledge with any and all beings who they meet, they hope to someday help all they can in any way they can. This beacon of guidance will slowly start to yield to Junko's traditional lifestyle, however, digivolving to Owlmon, in hopes of helping Hinako further. This champion owl Digimon is simply perfect as is for this line. I wanted to maintain a theme of masks and coverings for this line, which will become more relevant soon. Owlmon will shed its form and digivolve once again though, as Hinako becomes more erratic in her decision process, becoming Lovebirdmon. This Crowmon recolor is a further changed bird Digimon to represent Junko's loss of self in her pursuit of traditional wifehood. I wanted to kind of move away from the owl motif because she's changing who she is for this wedding, for this marriage. A mask stays present, covering the face of a much less owl-looking Lovebirdmon, an avian creature whose notions of love and matrimony have twisted them into something more and more unrecognizable. They believe that love and family is the end-all be-all of life and have begun to move past giving genuine advice and more towards traditional ideals that others should follow without question. When Hinako realizes a woman's individuality and choice is what matters most, it is seemingly too late for Junko as her partner digivolves one last time to Decoramon. I named this new take on Crossmon to represent what both Junko and, in a way, their mother act as: decoration. They're but objects for their husbands to lay claim to. It's a disgusting and horrific view of womanhood that was all too present in 1960s Japan, or frankly 1960s everywhere, and is sadly attempting a return in our modern society. Women do not need to submit to their husbands. Women don't need husbands. Women are their own individual beings. And I need us as a society to fight back, y'all. Feminism is under threat every goddamn day in this country right now. So not to get on my soapbox, but down with the patriarchy. Anyways, Junko has been dulled and gave up her individuality for her marriage as was needed by her family, quote unquote. A Digimon who has dipped their own wings in silver to please the one they serve, rendering them flightless in exchange for beauty that only others could enjoy. Deep down, these subservient beings can feel their old selves clawing their way to the surface, possibly trying to shatter their metallic shell and reclaim their rightful place as a free agent of the skies. So, The misguided Junko is partnered with an unfortunately fated Hootmon who will digivolve to Owlmon, Lovebirdmon, and Decoramon. I'm gonna be so real. I don't know if I actually did, but in my mind, I cooked with Decoramon. The symbolism, the idea of like a bird Digimon dipping their wings in molten silver, essentially clipping their own wings just so they can look pretty. Like I think I cooked, guys. I think I'm super talented, and Bandai should hire me. Someone should hire me. I'm just kidding. But somebody else could also hire me and I can make money doing both, okay? Why don't you want me to be rich? God. Speaking of that attitude, things are gonna get a touch heated as I talk about my next two characters. I have some fairly harsh views on parental neglect and abuse, so I'm going to give another trigger warning as I will touch on the abuse endured by the Shimizu family, specifically the women, and more specifically, the young women. And I'm also going to touch on my own emotions on this topic, so it's probably going to leak through a bit. I'm probably going to get a little yelly. We'll see. I have it scripted, but we all know I love to go off script. Kanta is a nasty drunk who failed in life and feels the need to take it out on those he should protect. Where one would hope he would end the cycle of abuse he claims to have received from his father, he chooses instead to perpetuate it until the last possible moment. So, let's dive into this piece of work. This man truly deserves no ounce of respect, no matter his reasons nor his half-ass apology at the end of the game. His monstrous form just furthers his abuse to both his wife and his daughters. A cancerous big mouth with a knife he likes to swing around, they kind of clocked him perfectly here. But alas, I have a job to do. Kanta is partnered with the undeserved joy that is Bergamon. It hurts me to give him one of my favorite rookies ever, one that is, if I'm not using custom Digimon, my partner Digimon. But unfortunately, Bergamon works really well for the themes I want to present here. I wanted his themes to obviously surround cooking, as he was a failed restaurateur, though not failed from talent, and I think that's why Bergamon is so important here, because he is a talented cook in the digital world. But instead, he failed because of personal betrayal. Bergamon will, of course, with this, grow more jaded and serious like Kanta, and digivolve to Chefmon. I recolored Cookmon to create an accidental color theme that will be screamingly obvious in the next Evo. A more no-nonsense evolution of Bergamon, these culinary artists take their recipes and crafts very seriously, sometimes to a fault, forgetting to have fun and cook for joy and love rather than profit and production. This desire for perfection will be the bane of this existence, as fueled by betrayal, Chefmon digivolves to Sous Chefmon. I redesigned Petermon, making this accidental McDonald's mascot. But you know what? It fits, okay? I'm keeping it. A dark chef who was once betrayed by someone they cared for, these Digimon are known as the monsters of the harvest. They take the best produce for themselves, threatening all around them to get it, hoping to use these ingredients to craft perfection that could maybe repair their now destroyed reputation. Kanta's rage, His rage and regret will manifest to perfectly mirror his own monstrous transformation as Sous Chefmon digivolves to Gyutomon. Named for Japanese chef knives, this Zanmetsumon recolor brings the knife themes to the forefront, but also Hinako's fear of men comes from the abuse she received from her very own father, which of course culminated in a moment where Kanta threw a knife at Hinako, nearly slashing her in the process. This self-serving monster who cuts down anyone who questions their rule, Gyutomon are masters of the blade who are feared by all but respected by none. Their gaping mouth upon their chest serves as a way to scream torments at their underlings, even when they're busy. I mean, it even kind of at least the body resembles what Kanta? This failure of a chef, and more importantly, failure of a father, is partnered with Bergamon, who digivolves to Chefmon, Sous Chefmon, and Gyutomon. Though I hold empathy for her, Kimi is not free of sin. Hinako's mother plays an almost willing accomplice to Kanta's violence. Now, I know she is ridden with guilt over the life her girls lived and is even dealing with what is implied to be a terminal disease such as cancer. I cannot forgive her complacence. No matter what the situation is, the moment Kanta threw that knife at Hinako should have been the last straw. And for that, she's a coward. Her daughter's safety should have been the point of no return for her, no matter the circumstance, but that's why she works as a spineless monster in this warped, monstrous world that Hinako is trapped in. But let's talk more about Kimi. Though plagued by a possibly deadly disease, her aspirations for wifehood and motherhood are clouded by her own view of what women in society should be. She's part of the problem. This results in her being an active passenger in her husband's wrath. Her spineless, monstrous form perfectly captures her willful negligence and ignorance to her daughter's suffering. No matter her own suffering, though, it was her job to protect Hinako from anything, and she failed in that sense. Kimi is partnered with the surprisingly brave and strong Saint Marmon as kind of a foil. This overhaul of Leomon is meant to be a new oversized rookie, which is something I'd love to see more of, personally. Named for the winged lion of St. Mark, which is the symbol of Venice and its patron saint, these beautiful felines are known for their love of flight and freedom, choosing to go where the wind takes them, stopping only to cherish those they love most. Some would say this joy of love and flying and freedom is very similar to how Hinako feels as she gets older. These things take a turn, though, as Saint Marmon digivolves to Astheniamon. This time we redesigned Meikumon to create this winged cat. As Kimi is forced to shrink in her marriage, so is her partner. I named this mon after the mutation cutaneous asthenia, which causes cats to grow wing-like skin flaps, a nod to having the appearance of flight but a lack thereof the ability. Thought to be a Saint Marmon who stayed behind to care for loved ones, these small creatures still pack a powerful punch, but have taken on a much smaller form to allow the others in their life to grow and take the spotlight. This theme is furthered even more as Astheniamon digivolves to Shrinkmon, a simply named Pixiemon recolor, which furthers Kimi's descent into smallness. Between the disease and her husband, she feels like less and less of a person or an individual. These small beings were once said to be large and powerful Digimon who, under the control of another, shrank themselves down to please them, hoping their smallness would allow them to go without ridicule and pain. Kimi and her partner reach the point of no return as they attempt to push Hinako towards giving up her aspirations and dreams to be in this arranged marriage whether she wants to or not. Shrinkmon will digivolve to Minimon. This Marine Angemon redesign wears a false smile on their face, feeling hopeless against the horrors that they have both endured and stood by during. A mere fraction of the powerful being they once were, Minimon are soft-spoken Digimon that yield to the whims of their bigger counterparts, only stepping in when things go too far to try and let cooler heads prevail. Though they are kind beings, they are known as cowards amongst Digimon and spirits alike. This poor soul is partnered with a Saint Marmon who shrinks more and more as they digivolve to Astheniamon, Shrinkmon, and Minimon. But enough of that. It's time for the girl who has become my favorite Silent Hill protagonist, and I mean it. Heather had it locked in for the longest time. But, you know who has it now? Hinako! Bow, 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 bow. Andrew, put music here. If not, I'm going to look ridiculous. Alright, I have some specific ideas for Hinako, which does involve two paths, but with Digivice in hand, I know she can handle it. Our girl is put through the ringer time and time again in this story. No matter how light of a spin you try to add, and yes, the moment it got too heavy, I did put my girl in the bunny costume because I was like, I can't. I need something light here. But no matter how light you try to make it, the curse that is Silent Hill just keeps destroying her at every chance it gets. But she perseveres. So who helps her? Hinako is initially partnered with a faux pas-mon, whose name holds multiple meanings. I was really proud of this, and there's even like a double side to it that we'll see later. This Shumon recolor helps nod to both the term faux pas, which means a social or etiquette blunder as a nod to Hinako's rejection of societal gender norms, but it also works as a mispronunciation of foxpaw in like if you're looking at the word foxpaw and the term faux pas, they're similar-esque, and I love that. A puppet Digimon thought to have two forms. These Digimon are able to sew up different parts of their bodies. Are able to sew up different parts of their bodies and their appearance to change the outcome of a situation. Their ever-flowing state of being makes it impossible to know what their true form could be. Eventually, when Hinako and her partner must face the monsters taking over her town, Faux Pasmon will digivolve to Dollmon. A furthering of our puppet attribute, this Kokeshimon recolor represents our little baddie dolly that Hinako finds throughout her journey, and we know isn't exactly what it's supposed to be. A puppet Digimon who latches on to the young, these Mons are able to help push children in their care towards what they feel is the best decision. Though seemingly kind in nature, you can't help but feel like something sinister is lurking underneath the surface. Dollmon will eventually digivolve again, this time to Hoodmon. Hoodmon? I'm realizing some of the names I've chosen today are hilarious. Anyways, a clear reference to the Little Red Riding Hood story, this Chaperomon recolor works to connect Hinako to the fairy tale about a girl who goes against what her mother says and finds herself in a world of danger. Hinako knows she wants to forge her own path, even if it leads to tragedy. A Digimon who yearns to make their own path, Hoodmon are rebellious beings. It is said all Hoodmon leave home at some point to try and go out on a quest, but rarely do they reach their intended destination. Beneath their wooden exterior is a spirit of adventure and free will waiting to burst out. Hinako and her partner realize, like others in this story, that they have been manipulated by a puppet master. They break free together, with the help of someone familiar, allowing Hoodmon to digivolve to Choicemon, an aptly named recolor of Valkyremon. This Digimon represents Hinako's resolve to make her own choices, no matter the risk. Accompanied by a bird, much like Hinako's spirit, and wielding the purified sacred sword by their side, this spirit of adventure is believed to have shattered from a form of manipulation and suggestion, finally choosing to take their own path in life, no matter where it leads them. Now, I mentioned another person who helps Hinako realize her true wants. That would be, well, Hinako. That's right. The Hinako who explores the other world is Hinako's other side. It is her spirit form that she was initially forced to interact with because of Shu's drug meddling. Her desire for ease in the future, one who doesn't dread a wedding to Kodayuki, this Hinako learns to listen to herself instead of others. We're first introduced to what we think is a shaded Faux Pasmon, but is in fact Foxpawmon. Two sides of the same coin, this Digimon acts as Hinako's other half's partner. Once thought to just be a darker side to Faux Pasmon, these Digimon are actually something completely different in nature. Though they share their ability for modification, the being underneath never changes, leading to a more honest Digimon who believes in loyalty and truth. I kind of see, like, if this were like animated or whatever, I kind of see there being like a thing where Otherworld Hinako, who's kind of out of it, trying to figure out who she is, what's going on, when she meets Foxpawmon, she just thinks that he's mispronouncing his own name. And she just goes, okay, sure. And I feel like it'd be a running gag until they realize that Foxpawmon is indeed a separate being from Faux-Pawmon, which, that's right, means Hinako has twin partners, but I digress. During their journeys in the Shrine World, Foxpawmon will digivolve to Foxmon. Shedding the falseness of their puppethood, this Repamon recolor proves a powerful ally that works as Hinako's fox arm in the story. The truest of forms for Fox Digimon, this being is a spiritual power of immense level who can rip tears in the very fabric of the mortal plane using just their tails. Before they come to terms with their manipulation, Foxmon will be guided towards a set path, digivolving to Spiritawamon. A recolored Kyukimon variant, this Digimon continues our themes of blades and foxes for this part of the line. A Digimon thought to have vanished when they were young, these wayward souls are powerful creatures that can move from one place to another in the blink of an eye. Some say that if a child is spirited away to a fox's wedding, that it was a Spiritawamon who took them. Obviously, the name, Spiritawamon, is supposed to be kind of like a quick version of Spirited Away. Spiritawa. Spiritawa. Get it? You guys get it. I'm such a genius. Once the revelations come to pass, Spiritawamon will shed their falsehoods further and undo their misguidance, digivolving to Kuzuhamon. Our final form is a liberated fox spirit who needs no recolor to stand side by side with both Choicemon and Hinako. So, our bravest girl in the world is partnered with a Faux-Pawmon who digivolves to Dollmon, Hoodmon, and Choicemon, but is also partnered with a Fox-Pawmon who digivolves to Foxmon, Spiritawamon, and Kazuhamon. So there you have it, folks. This was our foray into a Silent Hill F and Digimon crossover. This was a lot deeper and darker than our stories usually go, but I love this game to bits. I had so many ideas for it. Again, I just spent the last few days getting all 5 endings and 99% of the trophies because one of them's bugged and Lost in the Fog mode can suck my egg. And literally, I did not want to start playing Digimon Story Time Stranger until I got this video recorded. Once I put down Silent Hill F for Digimon, that's done. I'm not going back to Silent Hill F for months because I have too many games coming out now. So I'm about to literally probably finally go to bed. 6:30 in the morning. I'm going to literally finish this recording, upload it to the drive for our lovely editor to handle, and then I'm going to go to bed and wake up and play Digimon. I promise we will get back to our lighthearted crossover soon with Wild Force coming up soon, like next actually. I also am working on a podcast thing. I don't want to call it a podcast, but I'm excited. I don't care if nobody watches it. I'm hype. I'm just going to yap for like an hour. And if you guys want to join me, watch the video, hang out, ask me to talk about things if there's something you want to hear me yap about. It doesn't have to be Digimon related. As always, if you like my content or this video in particular, please subscribe. Subscribe? 6 in the morning. Please subscribe, like, and or comment. Also feel free to check out my TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Twitter linked below. Beneath that, you'll find a link invite to our Discord channel, so feel free to hop on in and join the 282. Again, I will be linking Gingy's video below with his deep dive on kind of the overall explanation of Silent Hill F's story and all 5 endings. So please check that out. He's a new obsession of mine. I'm about to go watch all of his shit. I'm obsessed. But anyways, thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye! Hey, this is the first time I've stayed up all night. It's 6:33 a.m.